Welcome to the 9th edition of the Coffee Table Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jay Jack, and man, my guy Funky Cold is the other host, but I don't know what he got going on right now, but I suspect he should be probably coming on pretty soon. So, Funky Cold, are we out there? Keep it in the closet. using the pen as a cigar.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have been waiting a very long time to do this. Since Stephen A. Smith has decided to start clowning my Cowboys. Stephen A., what's up? Accident waiting to happen. I got the cigar, I got the jersey, I got the swagger.
Funky Cold, so you got on, hold on. So what's this about? We talking about the Knicks?
So this morning I stumbled upon some first take video on YouTube, munching on some Cheerios for breakfast.
Right.
And Stephen A. Smith's sitting there with his mug. So I go to him and he's all happy and excited. And
Stephen A. was giddy this morning?
He was giddy, exactly. He was giddy this morning, acting like his Knicks were back. Well, let me tell you this right now. If this was my Cowboys, he'd be saying, it's an accident waiting to happen. Let me tell you this. First of all, I got nothing but respect for Julius Randle and them boys that are balling. However, them New York Knicks, man. You New York Knicks fans, by the way, I chose the song Keep It in the Closet. Because
they came out of the closet.
Real quick. We about to see people with Linsanity jerseys that claim that they didn't just buy it off eBay for $5 last night.
Hey, so what you're saying is, man, they slid up in the fourth place.
They slid up in the fourth place, but here's the thing, right?
Yeah, read these records.
Hey, 18-7 is respectable. Fourth place, I'll give you that. Miami, though.
18 and what? 18 and
17. Sorry, not 7.
One game over 500. Okay.
I'll be honest with you, though. Miami, Boston, and Toronto. And my Toronto Raptors, by the way, I feel violating myself wearing this jersey, but that's a whole different
That's Pat Ewing, though.
That's Pat Ewing, though. That's a legend. Great. That's different. That's number 33. You guys can see there. Anyway, Miami, Boston, Toronto, 17-17, half a game behind them. Charlotte, 16-17, another half game behind them. Then you got the Pacers and the Bulls at 15-17, only got 1.5 games behind them. If the Knicks mess around and lose a couple games, you're down to 10th place. We won't. Hey, you know what? They'll go keep it in the closet as soon as they get back. And we'll see Stephen A. Smith not giddy anymore. We'll see all that, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be honest with you. The month of March for the Knicks it ain't gonna be easy. Here's why. They start off tomorrow with the Spurs, and the Spurs are balling.
Yes, they are. How many games over 500 are they right now? 6 or 7 games? Okay.
5. And then they have the Pistons. You can win that game, but the Pistons have given good team fits.
Yeah, the Pistons are coming to play.
And then after that, you got the Bucks. That's going to be tough. So right there, you lose those 2 games, you could be down in 10th place. And then again, it's keep it in the closet.
Yeah. So basically, they need to pump their brakes and just be happy with what they got. Because I saw a few Knicks fans out there celebrating, and I feel them, you know what I mean? But when you're a Raider fan or a Cowboys fan, man, you kind of know not to get too excited. Well, most Cowboy fans don't understand. They get excited. You guys
understand. I understand it. Most Cowboy fans.
I don't get excited because I
don't either. Exactly. And by the way, the big game for the Knicks this month, and this is my point about the Knicks and losing 2 games, right? So they have that. Then they play the Thunder. Then on Monday, so 2 weeks from today, we have the battle in New York. They play the Nets on ESPN. Then they follow that up with the Sixers. So them Knicks fans listen, if y'all can win one of those 2, I'll give you my respects. If y'all can then beat the Sixers 5 days after you play them once, y'all will have my respects. All I'm saying is this: the Knicks have a tough month of March. They're acting like they're the 1 seed. They're the 4 seed. They're a game above 500. And if they were in the West, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. So Knicks fans, keep it in the closet. And welcome to another episode of the Coffee Table Podcast, sponsored by the Crow's Nest Barbershop.
Absolutely. Shout out Frank the Barber.
Shout out Frank the Barber. We officially
go in there and get blessed by Handle.
Blessed by Handle, which I need to do soon. My sides are getting whack.
Yeah, man. I got my boys set up to go in on Wednesday. So
yeah, but
Handle, they're blessed. They're about to be blessed by Handle.
They will be blessed by Handle, and it's
shout out Coffee Table.
Yeah,
we gotta get Frank. We gotta get Frank back on here because that Luka Doncic card that sold for $4 million. You remember he was on here and he's a big card collector.
Big
I
card
hit him today and said, "Man, you got any Luka rookies?" And he was like, "I got a ton of them." I said, "You gonna be rich because someone spent $4.6 million for a Luka Doncic card."
That's crazy, man.
That is crazy. I wish I had the card and sold it. I wish that was me.
Hey, Coach, if that was you, you'd be keeping it out of the closet on some boat in Cabo.
You already know. Oh no, I finished this little school year and but April, I'd be trying to do something. Even in this pandemic, I'd be trying to get somewhere where it's just not that serious.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, man, I just want to throw something out about that song. So after you told me to pick that song, I'm listening to the lyrics of this song, and I'm like, wait, this is Michael Jackson talking about keeping it in the closet. The same guy that got accused of all that stuff. I'm like, damn. That's sketchy, but I laughed. I was like, we don't put this song on anyways.
Yeah, that's a jam, though. I mean, that was perfect with the situation there, though.
It is. And listen, man, I got back to Stephen A. Smith and said, next time I'll have a real cigar so I can do a little.
Yeah. You came out faking. You gotta have a real stogie. Hey, what you sipping on today?
I actually got some water again, keeping my pipes clean, Coach.
Gotcha. So, man, I'm on this
oh, that's some good virgin lemonade.
You like that? I'm on that Newman's.
Newman's is good, man. Newman's is good.
On that Newman's today. You see my porcelain. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyways, let's get into some RIPs, man.
Yes.
You got a special one.
You have something. You go first because mine's gonna be long. You go first.
Man, I just saw the other day that Mark Hamill died. And I just want to, that's Luke Skywalker. So, hey, Fresh West, can you guys check to make sure that's real? I'm doing
that right now. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I think Mark Hamill passed, man. And that's Luke Skywalker right there. I definitely grew up on that guy. So if he did pass, I'm going to say RIP, Mark Hamill. Young Luke Skywalker, not young Luke. Yeah, young Luke Skywalker, pretty much.
That's weird. I'm not seeing it, but maybe it hasn't been updated. When did you hear that?
Wes, you heard it too, right?
I think he's still alive. I think we're good.
Mark Hamill's still breathing.
Heart sank. You said that, and I literally, my heart said the second you said it, I pulled out my phone.
All right, good, man. I saw that. Sorry, Mark Hamill. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad I got you looking it up, Fresh, because I was not 100% sure, but somebody said, say it ain't so, Mark Hamill.
Right. No. I was hoping that didn't happen, but wait, maybe you mistook it for someone else. Oh, you know who died recently that we didn't talk about?
Who?
Was Larry King.
Yeah. Oh, especially doing a podcast, man. Like
we didn't mention that. That was a month ago or something, I think.
That was
January 23rd. Yeah.
Best an original talk show host ever, man. He's interviewed all kinds of cats.
Oh, you know what happened? We got caught up in the whole Hank Aaron thing. And we forgot to mention Larry King.
Well, rest in peace, Larry King, man. How dare us, And Mark Hamill, if you're out there and you're actually tuning into the podcast, man, my bad, man. That's that fake news.
But that's good news, though.
That is great news. I'm glad it's fake as hell. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready to see Luke Skywalker die for real. You know what I'm saying? I already saw you.
Clearly
lose his arm in the episode, I saw him lose his arm. His daddy cut his arm off, saw him,
Yeah, so now, and this gonna take me a minute, but
what you sipping on a good H2O? That's right. Okay.
So my RIP is in continue to rest in peace. So a year ago today, it was actually around this time, I was sitting in my game room playing on my PlayStation, and I believe I was playing FIFA. And first of all, I want to preface this. I know that we came in with this show with all jokes and fun and games, but at the end of the day, it's life. Real stuff happens. And anyways, as I was saying, last year I was playing PlayStation. My brother comes into my room and he goes, "Did you hear what happened?" And I go, "No, what do you mean?" He goes, "Spencer Sprague killed himself." And so a little background on Spence. So this is why underneath this, I have my Cape football gear. And Coach Filio, if you're watching, I know this was hard for all of us, the whole community. And so Spence was a freshman my senior year. And this is actually from my senior year because you'll see it has 11 on it. I took Big Murph's number. It's a whole different story. Excuse me. So he was one of those kids that came in, like the really like this like nice kid, big heart, teddy bear type kid, had his heart in the right place, but had trouble. He felt like he didn't fit in. He had his friend group, but he struggled with stuff and everything. And so I took him under my wing, being the guy I am, the senior coach. You know how I was always helping people out, the younger cats, even when I was a sophomore. And football field, I'd always taught to him. He'd always come to me. School, if he was struggling, he'd come to me. And then after I graduated, every time I pulled up to a football game or a basketball game and he went to it, we would talk. He'd always come up to me, give me a big hug. And he was just one of those kids that you love to be around. And he was a good guy. And then when he graduated, he went to Arizona for a year because he had family out there. And then he came back. He was dealing with some very tough mental health stuff. And he came home. We all thought he was doing better. And then he shot himself a year ago today. And I remember, again, as I said, I was playing PlayStation and I kind of sat down. I turned it off. And I went in my room, got in my bed, and tested some of my friends and said, "Is this for real?" Because my brother knew him because my brother was a freshman when he was a senior. And my brother had a friend whose brother was in Spence's grade. And it was real. And I remember they had a memorial service for him, Kettle Cove Beach in Cape. And I just couldn't get myself to go. I was just too internally down and depressed about it. And Spence, I know you're watching from up above, homie. And rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Really.
And sorry that was long, but I had to get my
Nah, man, you had to give us the backdrop.
Yeah.
Backdrop's important. So, oh
yeah.
Man, lights in here.
And coach, I'm sure if you bring up to Filio, Spence, he'll talk good about him. Kid was a good kid. He had his heart in the right place.
Played football?
Played football.
Okay. Yeah, and I know Filio probably had him in class too, so for sure. All right, man. All right, so let's get into this. Go ahead.
Rookie watch, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do rookie watch. Man, I'll tell you what, did we pick him wrong, man. I don't know why we didn't just go with we should have just went with LaMelo and.
Well, see, here's the thing. The reason why I didn't pick LaMelo is because I was one of the cats that said, I think Lonzo might be able to do it. And then that came back to hurt me. So then I was like, I don't know if LaMelo is going to be the same or not.
Melo's just a little more, he's more special. He's a special.
Hey, did you see last night? Game's over. Last shot of the game. Dude still goes for the ball. It was half of the game, takes a dive into the seats.
Yeah, he's tripping.
That kid got energy, man. That kid is a hustle ball player. He's a hustle player.
He's nice, and his teammates just loving him. So,
yes, sir.
So, but yeah, man, boy, did we pick him wrong.
We did, because you're looking at LaMelo Ball is averaging 15.5 per game. Anthony Edwards 15, Tyrese Halliburton 13, Quickly 12.2, James Wiseman 12.0, and our pick, our guy, Obi Toppin, 4.6 points per game.
How many minutes is he playing, man?
He is playing per minutes per game. He hasn't played many minutes. Oh, he's only played 300 minutes. LaMelo's played triple that.
That's what's tough with them too. Like
minutes per game. Hold on. Minutes per game for Obi. What the hell's going on here? Hold on. Minutes per game for Obi Toppin is at 12.2.
Yeah, Obi's not playing long. See, to me, that wasn't where we thought he should have went to Chicago, right? Is that what we were saying, you and I?
I think right over the guy that Chicago picked, who I don't think he's been necessarily playing very, very well.
Right.
Patrick Williams is doing okay, but I think you should have gone to Chicago because I think he would have got more playing time.
Yeah, I do too. They just got so many power forwards already in New York.
Right, and I mean, hey, all jokes aside, because you know what I could say about the Knicks. My closet's right there. We ain't gonna say it,
Right.
but they ball. Props to them. And
the coach is dope. You know what's funny? Remember we were talking about Tibbs in the beginning of the year.
We were, but what's interesting too is that they got Emmanuel quickly, and I don't think they regret getting Emmanuel quickly because he's been balling. But I will say this: imagine Halliburton being coached by Tibbs. He's already a problem. Imagine him on the Tibbs team. Right. He might be rookie of the year if that's the case.
Right. Halliburton, you know where he could go? You know who could use him right now and would probably excel?
Who?
Clippers.
Yeah. Well, because Halliburton's on Sacramento, and I'm pretty sure he's getting 30 minutes a game. So here's the thing that's the most impressive about Emmanuel quickly, right? Is he's the only rookie, right, in the top 10 in points that is not averaging 20 minutes or more a game.
Oh, yeah. That means he's getting buckets quickly.
Right. And so here's a stat for you, because you know I'm a stat guy. I just looked up his stats. If we were looking at Emmanuel Quickly's numbers per 36 minutes, because you know how they do the per 36 stat.
Right.
He'd be averaging 23.5 points per game. So he's not starting because of Derrick Rose, but you have to wonder if Tibbs was playing in more minutes, what would this Cappy do?
Don't be surprised if the Clippers don't do something and try to acquire him.
Quickly or Halliburton.
Not Halliburton. Halliburton will stay where he is. I think
he'll stay in Sacktown.
I think the Clippers really were impressed with him. Paul George and Kawhi were like, this guy's dope. They really like him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. But so yeah, that's the rookie watch. I really don't see
Edwards is creeping though, but poor Edwards, his squad can't win.
See, that's the thing is I was going to say, Anthony Edwards is the only legitimate competition to LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball is going to win it, and Halliburton, but both of their teams stink.
Yeah,
and LaMelo has Charlotte sitting in 7th or 8th.
Yeah, but it's cold-blooded for what's the name, because both their teams are in the West, right?
Edwards and Halliburton.
Yeah,
but also Halliburton, I can understand that point, but Anthony Edwards, how do y'all only have 6 wins?
Yeah, they're in the gutter. You're right.
They're going to get the number 1 pick again. They're going to get, what's his name? Jalen Green or something, whatever that dude's name is. That's a problem. They're going to get another guy. But see, it doesn't make any sense to me because you have D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards.
D'Angelo Russell's been out for a while, but you're right. They need
you got Josh Okogie and you got Cat, and you can't win more than 6 games.
But not everybody's been playing together. So as soon as Cat got back, D'Angelo was out. Before D'Angelo went out, Cat was out. They've not had a full healthy unit the whole year.
Right, but
excuses for him. But that could be 6
I understand that, but the Pacers lost T.J. Warren 3 games in, and I understand they have more talent, but still, they're still balling.
The Pacers are resilient, though, man. Like we've been talking about that. They've been pretty resilient in general. Like they can take a hit, take a licking, and keep on ticking. You know.
Exactly. So I feel you on that.
Shout out to Tibbs though with the New York Knicks, man. Shout out to those cats, man. It's funny. Remember that episode with Deacon? We were talking about Tibbs.
Yeah.
Someone said the exact same thing that we were talking about. I saw it on something today, and they were saying that Tibbs, you know, he runs his players into the ground. Like he's great for getting the team kind of at a certain level, and then it just kind of tops off. And it's funny to watch that because he is great at that. So seems like that might be happening. But
right. Hey, so I did a little digging on the Timberwolves stats, right? Timberwolves have had a couple close games that they've let go. And their issue has been, like, for example, like a week ago, they lost to the Bulls in overtime. They scored 126, but they let the Bulls score 133. You can't win games if you're letting a team score 130 points.
Yeah, if you're letting a team score in the 100 and over 100, it's hard.
Right, right. And I mean, but my point is like, look, Cat had a great game, but I don't know. See, Cat to me, I can't say I haven't been big on Cat, but people always try to put Cat in like the top 3, top 5 center category. But what has he done in his career to make you say, besides put up stats? It's back to my point of empty buckets, right? Cat's one of those empty stat players. But does he get you wins?
Pass from me this year based on losing so many family relatives to COVID.
I'll give you that this year. I'll give you that.
But I know what you're saying though. Here's the thing.
My favorite movie of all time is Moneyball, and I love the theory of teams try to buy players for their stats, but you need to buy wins. Karl Anthony Towns is unfortunately not one of those players that gets you wins.
Right.
He just isn't.
Yeah.
He can get you this. It's like Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond gets you the stats, but does it translate to W's at the end of the day?
Right. So we got to with Cat, with their squad. Ooh, that's what my flight. With Cat, one thing I will say though about him is he's not trying to go anywhere else.
He does. No, I'll give him that. Listen, props to you on that.
He said it the other day that I want to win here, or I won't say or lose here, but he wants to win there. So shout out to Cat for staying in that situation, because it's rough over there in Minnesota.
Yes,
they didn't bring back my Sonics. I think you could bring back my Sonics and have them be an expansion, and we might get more dubs.
Hey, listen, man. Here's the thing. If people say, "Oh, well, we need to get rid of a team to bring back the Sonics," get rid of the damn Timberwolves. You know what? Put the Timberwolves in the G League, man. Make them do the song. I'm still a firm believer of this theory, right? This is my theory. The NBA should, and people are going to be blowing me up for this. The NBA should get 4 new teams, 2 in the West, 2 in the East for expansion, right? The 4 teams with the worst record go down to the G League. As soon as that happens, players are going to want to leave. And then you do the soccer thing where in order to get called up, you got to win. So what I would do is I would say this. The 2 teams that make it to the finals, they go up. The 1 team from the West, 1 team from the East. Then the winner of the finals gets like extra money for players, and they get the trophy. And then the 2 worst, so the worst record from the East, the worst record from the West, they go down. That would make it more interesting, in my opinion. Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be.
Because see, that's the one thing I give soccer its props. At the end of the day, each league, there's no playoffs. There's only playoffs in different tournaments. You have tournaments that have playoffs. But like if you're the worst 3 in your league, you get called down. Then 3 teams come up. I think that would put first of all, that would stop tanking. Because if a team goes down to the G League, like LeBrons and Cats aren't going to want to go play in the G League. They're going to go up. They're going to want to stay up. So you're going to be forced to go get players. Second thing is this. It's going to make it more interesting because I wouldn't do it now because I wouldn't want a G League team in the NBA. I'd say give 4 expansion teams. I'd say give a Seattle, give a Kansas City, give a Pittsburgh, and give 1 more. And give Tennessee. Well, Tennessee has 1.
Oh, Memphis. That's right.
Yeah. So I would do, I don't know. Just think of something.
Oh, probably a St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. So you have 4 more teams. And then what you would do is, so for example, how that would work is those 4 teams, right? They'll get their props. They'll get their just desserts. They go right into the NBA on an expansion draft, just because that's the way it is. And then the 4 worst records. So that right now that would be Houston, which is crazy to think about. Minnesota, Detroit, and Cleveland. They go down. And think about it this way. Of those 4 teams that I just called, think about all those expansion teams. Like the Sonics would have pickings of Oladipo, Cat, Sexton, Garland, Christian Wood, John Wall, because none of those players would want to go down to the G League.
Right.
So I think it's an idea, and I think it'd be a cool idea to try out. Because then you can have the expansion, but you keep 32 teams, but then teams, all of a sudden tanking doesn't become a thing. Then you can actually get rid of a lottery because it won't matter because teams will be playing to win and it'll be way more competitive and teams will be doing everything not to go and get called down. But then you'll have a team like the Warriors.
The draft would have to be like reconstructed too, though, right?
Exactly. But I don't think it's that bad of an idea, personally.
No, not at all. I ain't mad at it. That's not that'd be interesting.
And then what would be, but the one downside is, like, let's say you have a team like the Warriors, right? Last year they were played with injuries. Those cats could say, listen, let's all stay. Let's kill the G League next year and get called back up. That'd be the only stupid thing, is then they run through the G League all year.
Yeah, and the salaries of the G League. So you'd have to figure out how salaries going to work down
exactly.
there.
And the other thing is this: you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson coming to Maine. The Expo's getting sold out like that.
I like that. I like that.
I think that's a good idea, personally.
Yes, that is. Because they're going to play. They're going to play to try to get up to. Yeah, that'd be dope. I like that.
And see, that to me is the one thing about soccer that I think is so interesting, is there's so much to play for.
Right.
And then there was the other conversation, because Adam Silver is a commissioner that likes to try new things. I think he's a soccer fan, because he takes a lot of ideas from soccer, because he talked about having a mid-season tournament, which they have in soccer. And
like
he said, you take like a certain amount of teams, and I can't remember who it was. Someone told me that, I think it was a Celtic fan, told me that you have a Russell tournament and you have a Chamberlain tournament, and a Russell tournament's all the best teams. The Chamberlain tournament's all the worst teams. And you put them together mid-season and you have I don't know. There's just ideas like this that Silver's come up with that I kind of like.
I do too. That's dope. Because it's time.
I think
baseball should have done it a long time ago. Like, they should definitely have like interleague championships and.
Right, exactly. And I think that'd be interesting, because here's the way I see it, right? There's like, I think that would be really cool if you get 4 new teams in the NBA, and then basically so like at the start of next year, right? The NBA says, all right, we're going to introduce 4 new expansion teams: St. Louis, Kansas City, Seattle, and and Pittsburgh, right? So 2 in the East, 2 in the West. And the draft is going to be different. The 4 worst teams, 2 from the East, 2 from the West, will get called down to bring space for those 4 teams. Then your players will enter into an expansion draft, unless you can find a salary for them that fits the salary cap that they stay in, or they can enter free agency. Think about how teams would start going like this to get wins. They'd be making changes in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, it would be dope. Really. I like that. Funky Cold over here getting this.
Hey, you know what? They call me Funky Fresh. That's your fresh take of the week. Subway, eat fresh.
Fresh. Hey, man. So let's talk about Lloyd Pierce, man.
Yes, sir. That was my Nets. Hey, you beat me to it. That was going to be my Nets thing. So the Atlanta Hawks let go of Lloyd Pierce today. And before we get into his record, the top comment I saw was this: damn, they really waited till the day after Black History Month to fire this cat. And I started laughing. I just was like, damn. And then you said, well, of course, in Atlanta, they did it because they can't be firing during Black History Month in Atlanta.
No, heck no. Not in hot Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so, man, shout out Lloyd Pierce, man.
And here's the thing, right?
Somebody else will swoop him up. You know, I'm hoping.
Oh, easy. Hey, listen, you know what? You know what's crazy? Stevens is on the hot seat. But I don't personally see Boston hiring a black coach, because I have my thoughts on Boston. But Lloyd Pierce might fit there, personally.
He could. And I'll tell you what, if Brad Steve, he's one of my favorite coaches in the league. If he goes on the market, he's getting scooped like that. Tell you that.
And you know what? If I'm Atlanta, before I keep an interim coach to wait and see if Brad Stevens gets fired, because that's who I pick up if I'm Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because so Lloyd Pierce's record was 63 and 120. But the first 2 seasons, they didn't have much.
Right. And they keep injuries, man. They have injuries. I mean, I've watched them. Like this year alone, he would have got a pass this year for me, because they're not, what are they up, 4 or 5 games under 500? 6 games under 500. Trae Young's balling. Collins hasn't been healthy all year. Capella took a little while to get going. They're in the East.
And they're in the East.
You got to give him a shot. So I probably wouldn't have let him go till maybe after the season if I had to.
Right, because listen, 14 and 20 in East, they're like 4 games out of the playoffs.
Right. And here's the thing. Rondo's out.
Yeah.
Collins was out for a while. And
right.
Who's the shooter?
Bogdanovich.
That's a huge loss. That was gonna that was probably going to accumulate them at least 11 more wins.
Right. Exactly.
He was supposed to go to Milwaukee, and they opened their mouths too soon. So,
and that screwed him.
Yes, and he blew his knee out. Right, blew his knee out early.
Sir.
So I got to give Lloyd a little break, but they had to do what they had to do.
Oh, you sipping more of that Newman's, coach?
Yes, sir.
But no, I think I agree with you. I don't like the fire personally. I don't like it.
Right.
And especially with the way that you're gonna fire him not even a week after they gave the Celtics the business. And when I mean gave the Celtics the business, and Lou Gaddis, if you're listening to this, you can text me all you want. They gave y'all the business. They were up like 75-48 at halftime. That's the worst halftime score since when Dallas was a 50 at halftime on the Clippers. Second worst. So, but anyways, all right. I have 2 sports facts of the day. I'll keep one for later. I'll do one now on an interruption. Before that, I'll say, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe and share with everyone, please. We appreciate it. This is the 9th episode of the Coffee Table Podcast, brought to you by the Crow's Nest. My first interesting stat of the day is the most random triple doubles in NBA history. I found this on my For You page in Instagram. There's 4 that I don't think any of y'all know about. First of all, Mr. Coach Jason Jackson's favorite, Mr. Reliable, the old Peyton Pritchard, JJ Barea, has had a triple double in his career. 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 14 assists.
Okay.
Second one, Shaquille O'Neal's favorite player, JaVale McGee, had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 blocks in a game.
I'm a JaVale McGee fan, man.
That was back when he was on the Wizards. Remember young JaVale on the Wizards?
Man, he's one of the most athletic cats, man. That's my dude, man.
Yeah.
That's me dogging JaVale, but I'm a JaVale McGee fan, man. He got his ring, and he just seems like he'd be the livest teammate, man, to have on your squad.
Oh, yeah. And then another guy that has a triple-double who's playing for the Pacers right now, TJ McConnell. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Talk about getting it done. Mm-hmm. And the last most random triple-double goes to Kyle Anderson of the Memphis Grizzlies with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. And
is that all from this year?
No, these are all from in their careers. These are just random triple-doubles from their careers.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Still playing?
What?
No, I was like, damn, Berea's still playing?
No. All right. That's the random stat. Now, we're introducing a new section to our show.
Mm-hmm.
It's called
Funky Cold Versus.
Funky Cold Versus. So basically, this is where we sit down, we analyze our lists, and Coach Jay and I get into a little friendly banter. So last week, I introduced the top 15 players of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010 on this show, and Coach said, keep it for this week. So we're getting into that right now. Then we'll hop around, then we'll do both lists, then we'll hop around, do another take, then we'll do other stuff. But here we go. A recap of what this list was. 15 was Tony Parker. 14 was T-Mac. 13 was Paul Pierce. 12 was Dwight. 11 was Ray Allen. 10 was J. Kidd. 9 was Allen Iverson. 8 was Steve Nash. 7 was Dirk. 6 was D Wade. 5 was James. 4 was KD. 3 was Shaq. 2 was the Black Mamba himself. And 1 was Timmy Duncan.
Man, I feel like Paul Pierce has got to be a little higher.
I could see that. But that's not my problem with this list.
What's your problem?
Jason Kidd needs to be ahead of Steve Nash.
And that's the versus.
Because I'm assuming you're on the Steve Nash side.
I am not.
For the longest time, I was. And I'm going to do you a favor. If there's some young people that are watching on this show, and by young, I mean younger than myself, because you know me, I'm young and beautiful. But I'm talking about younger than myself on this show. Do me a favor and search up Jason Kidd highlights. The cat had no championships, no MVPs, no finals MVPs, and everyone said Steve Nash won 2 MVPs. First of all, one of those people think Shaq should have won. Throw that out there. Yeah. I think you believe that too.
Yeah, he should have got it that year.
Second thing is this. Jason Kidd didn't win an MVP because of the team that he was on. But that cat balled out. And I remember I was watching a podcast.
Was somebody trying to say, did someone say that he didn't win a championship?
He didn't win a championship.
Yes, he did.
Where?
With the Mavs when they beat LeBron and them. Check the roster.
Damn. I didn't think he was on that team.
That's why he edges Steve out for me. And he went from being a non-shooter to having a decent shot.
Right. But here's the other thing about Jason Kidd that was interesting. So I watched, again, a couple of weeks ago, that Ryan Russillo podcast, and they had Richard Jefferson on. By the way, Richard Jefferson is a clown. Did you guys see that clip of him interviewing Jamal Murray?
No.
So he interviews Jamal Murray, and he goes, "Can you hear me?" And Jamal Murray goes, "Yes, sir." And Richard Jefferson goes, "Don't you ever yes, sir me again, young man." And Jamal Murray goes, "Who this? Who talking to me like that?" And I was like laughing because like Richard Jefferson. Anyways, Richard Jefferson told the story because remember that Nets team was Jason Kidd, RJ, Kenny Kittles, who's very underrated, by the way. Kerry Kittles, and Kenyon Martin, who was a great all-time. And he said, in practice, it was my rookie season, RJ's rookie season. And he said, Jason Kidd would throw lobs up to Kenyon Martin, and Kenyon Martin would bang him down. And he goes, Jason Kidd tried to throw lobs up to me, and he said I couldn't catch him. So he said he went up to Jason Kidd in his rookie year and said, "Hey, listen, man," he said, "I understand you're throwing those up to Kerry and Kenyon, but," he said, "I can't catch those." He goes, "I need you to give me a pass for me to go and put it up on a dunk." And he said, Kidd said, "Okay." He said, "Nets play." Jason Kidd beamed him this pass right in the money for a dunk. Jason Kidd could do anything. He was a great passer. He got the shot developed. A lot of people think that he was the greatest passer of that era besides White Chocolate.
White Chocolate. We could have an episode on him alone. He's got to be on a versus at some point too.
Yeah, but by the way, my other problem with that list is this. Allen Iverson at 9.
Whew. Can you read the top 10?
Jason Kidd at 10, Iverson at 9, Nash at 8, Dirk at 7, Wade at 6, James at 5, KG at 4, Shaq at 3, Kobe at 2, Timmy D at 1. I'm gonna preface it this way.
I got AI in front of Nash.
I was gonna say I'm gonna preface it this way. I have no problem with the top 3. I'm fine with that. Timmy D, Kobe, and Shaq. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Kevin Garnett at 4, I think that's a little too hot, personally.
That Kobe with Shaq wasn't always, for me, it would have been reversed.
Shaq at 2, Kobe at 3.
Yeah, but that was based off of before Kobe got his 5th.
Hey, listen, we'll keep this for another versus, but is Shaq your greatest center of all time?
No.
Okay, so we'll keep
Most dominant.
Most dominant, but not greatest. All right, that'll be another versus in and of itself.
Most dominant, wouldn't say the greatest, but most dominant, and he is on my all-time list.
Right.
So I had a starting 5. He's my center.
Just because of how dominant he was. But anyway, so here's my point with the top 10. So top 3, I could argue. Garnett at 4, I'm not sold on that. LeBron at 5, I get it. He didn't win any championships until then. We'll keep him at 5. But here's my issue. I'm a firm believer that Dirk's better than KG. I'd swap those two if I could. But then that means you put LeBron at 4.
I'm not mad at the swap there.
Because I put LeBron at 4. I'd put Dirk at 5. I'd put Wade at 6 or 7 and KG at the other one. Only because, yeah, KG got his ring. Yeah, he was beneficial to that Celtic team. But that Celtic team wasn't about an individualistic thing. It was a team effort. Everyone played their part.
I got KG at probably like 8.
Right. And here's the other thing. You know who else I might put ahead of KG who got a lot of disrespect on this list is AI. AI does not deserve to be moved.
I'm putting AI in front of KG. Only thing that doesn't have, AI doesn't have that KG has.
Okay, but who? Okay. KG had a team set up for him for that, and AI had to go against Kobe and Shaq.
But that's partially on AI too, because the type of player AI was, they put players around him so he could basically score.
Right. And and here's my other problem with this list. How is Tony Parker 15?
You think he should be higher?
Yes, I think he's a very, very underrated point guard. You think Pierce should be higher? I think Tony Parker should be higher. I think you could argue Tony Parker ahead of Tracy McGrady. You could argue it.
Ooh.
Because Tracy McGrady doesn't have any accolades, no finals, no MVP, nothing. The dude could score, or you could put Tony Parker ahead of Dwight, because Dwight's the same thing.
Dwight definitely slides down my list.
Yeah, Dwight at 12, I don't know.
That's too high.
I think Parker should be ahead of him. Because remember, Parker has 3 finals, and he won a finals MVP in the 2006-2010 span.
Parker was a hooper. Parker should definitely be higher than Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Higher than T-Mac, we could argue. Paul Pierce, probably not. Ray Allen at 11, I'm fine with. I think Steve Nash should be 10, because I think AI and Jason Kidd both need to be ahead of Steve Nash.
I agree. But not by much.
No, not by much. Now, what is your reasoning for Kidd being ahead of Nash? It's that ring, right?
That ring kind of put it over the top. And I felt like later on in Kidd's career, he got better at what he wasn't good at.
Yeah. Oh, you know why they don't give Kidd that ring? I figured it out. Because he didn't win a ring. Because when the Mavs won, it was 2011. So he didn't win a ring in that 2010 span, but I don't care. I still give him the edge over Nash.
Yeah, I count the ring. Sorry.
Yeah.
Both their careers.
I agree. All right. The next part of the funky
old verses.
Funky old verses is the 2010s list. Now this one is even more interesting to me. Number 15, and this is from 2010 to 2019. Okay. Number 15.
Hey, can we go back? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I need to do that. So with the verses with Nash and Kidd, can you read their
stats,
points, assists, all-time point, their points, assists, averages, and 3-point percentages? Can you read you got that information there?
I can pull it up right now.
I just want to see who edged out who. Kidd was definitely a better defender.
It's very close. Let me put it that way. It is extreme. I know for a fact it's extremely close.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Kidd stats. Here's the thing you have to take into account about Jason Kidd. He played until he was 39.
What?
Yes. And so he had from 2007, 2008, when he got traded from the Nets to Dallas, until 2012, 2013, his stats went way down, especially his points. And then his assists went down after 2008 because he was old. So his all-time stats are hindered a bit. Steve Nash's all-time stats look a little better.
Right.
Because Jason Kidd's 12.6 points, 6.3 rebounds, 8.7 assists. Nash is 14.3 points, 3 rebounds, and 8.5 assists. People say, well, Nash played till he was 39 too. Yes, but Nash was on that Phoenix team for a while, hooping. He led the league in assists 5 years. He led the league in free throws twice. Jason Kidd led the league in assists 4 years, didn't lead the league in free throw shooting at all. But the thing that people forget about Jason Kidd is this. He was one of those players where he's one of those players that can get you wins. He doesn't need to have a good stat line to have his effect on the game because of his. What did you say he was better at than Steve Nash?
Defense.
His defense, exactly.
How many steals did he average a game? Almost 2?
1.9 on his career.
I said almost 2. And what about Nash?
The crazy thing. In his prime, he was consistently averaging 2 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Nash in steals was 0.7.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to see. You know what? And if I break it down into because what I love about basketball references, you can break it down into their defensive stats. If I break it down into their defensive stats, hold on, give me a second, way down here. We're going to have advanced stats. We'll break it down defensively. And defensive, the dude was just a defensive machine. Like, Steve, defensive win shares. I'm pretty sure he was pretty good. And let's see. Oh yeah, 75.1 total on his career for defensive win shares, which is crazy.
So for me, he edges Nash, but no disrespect to Nash because
no disrespect.
Nash was ridiculous.
Right.
And he was from the Pacific Northwest. I mean, he was from Vancouver, BC.
So you're going to give him his props just for that alone.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now on to the 2010s list.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is 2010 to 2009. So we're talking, 2019. So we're talking every championship except for last year. So that includes the Toronto one, that includes the whole Warriors phase, everything. 15th on this list, and he needs to be way higher than 15th, is Klay Thompson. 14th is Carmelo. 13th is Dwight. 12 is CP3. 11 is Dwayne Wade. 10 is Kobe Bryant. 9 is Dirk. 8 is Russ. I'll discuss that in a second.
They got Russ ahead of Kobe.
Hold on. 7 is Duncan. 6 is Giannis. 5 is Harden. 4 is Kawhi. 3 is KD. 2 is Steph, and 1 is LeBron. To address your point, yes, only because this is old Kobe when he only had a ring and a Finals MVP. But I don't care. There's no way in hell Russ should be ahead of Kobe in any list.
At any level, right? At any level. No.
Yeah. So
Russ will tell you he's not ahead of Kobe.
Russ will tell you he's not ahead of Kobe. But here's the thing: how can Klay with 3 rings be at 15?
I need to hear that list again.
Klay's at 15. Carmelo's at 14. Dwight's at 13. CP3's at 12.
This Dwight Howard stuff, man. Like, I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I put Dwight at 15 on this list too, because Dwight has never won an MVP. He's never won a Finals MVP, and he's never won a championship. And I understand Dwight was Superman and he was dominant.
He just won one with the Lakers, but they're not counting that.
He did. No, because that's from 2010 to 2019. He won in 2020.
I just heard Fresh West. He had some words. Go ahead, Fresh.
I was saying he won one, but I didn't know it ended in 2019.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. No, you're right. They should have ended this because they say LeBron has 4 here, so they should have counted Dwight's 1 ring. You're right.
Also, happy 3-1 day.
What?
He said happy 3-1 day.
3-1 day. Yeah, true. Happy 3-1 day.
Made me smile when I saw that today.
Yeah. But anyways, and you know what? I think KD should be ahead of Curry for one stat line. And you know where I'm going with this.
I want to see
MVPs. Because Curry has 3 rings, three rings and 2 MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
KD has 2 championships, 1 MVP, but he has 2 Finals MVPs. See, the one blemish on Curry's resume is you've won 3 chips, but you've never won a Finals MVP.
A lot of that is from unselfishness, though.
I disagree. Yes and no. The first one, though, was Max Kellerman's, man. $8 You can't forget about that.
Oh, Max is my dude, man. So, no, for me, yeah, I got to give KD. I put KD ahead of Steph. And that is definitely based on, I watched KD when he first came out of the league and he was a Sonic. Bring back my Sonics.
Hey, listen, coach, listen. The best way to bring back the Sonics is what I said. Do that expansion and bring 4 teams down and let them.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But no, I watched KD as a young pup, man, when he was with the Sonics, and he balled out, and he's balled out ever since. So yeah, I would probably put him ahead of Steph, but not by much, man. I'm become a really big Steph fan since they've been losing. Since they haven't just kind of been running through the league, I've kind of become much more of a Steph fan. He's the best shooter, I think, ever. So yeah, but they're close, but I got to go KD ahead of Steph.
Here's my question for you. So we said Dwight should be 15. Klay shouldn't be 15. Now, what's your opinion on 2 players that get a lot of heat for not winning rings in their careers that are on this list at 12 and 14 respectively, in Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony?
I think you're a nut. I think Melo is.
You know who said that, right? You know where that started. That was one time their Team USA that year when they were in Rio. Kyrie Irving was on his Snapchat game back then, and he goes, and starting at small forward, Carmelo Anthony, and then the whole team started singing. You remember that now, don't you?
Carmelo is probably 14 for me on that list.
So you like that? You think that that's good?
Carmelo, not taking nothing away from that cat. Glad he's back in the league. But Melo's just kind of basically been a scorer. He's never really, really led his team to anything.
See, Carmelo, again, is a perfect example of doesn't get your team wins. He gets your team buckets.
Right. I think had Melo not had to really sign for the big bread, which I get he had to get his money, and just kind of went with a team that was kind of stacked and took less bread,
yeah,
I think he would have helped the team out a lot more.
But hey, speaking of Melo, my favorite Melo line of all time, AOP, they tell me I'm coming off the bench. When he said that.
When he said that.
Someone interviewed him.
Okay.
And they said, how do you feel about potentially coming off the bench? He looks at Paul George and he says, AOP. You hear that? They talking about coming off the bench. He was trying to be Allen Iverson with, y'all talking about practice?
Yeah. No. So, no. Melo, man, I mean, he is an unbelievable scorer. I think the role he's playing now, I think had he had played that role for like the last 4 or 5 years, he'd have a ring.
I agree.
He'd have a ring. I think it just took him longer to realize, man, I don't have to be that guy. I can be that guy on any given night that they need me to be.
Right.
If he
and
had,
hey, you know what? Hey, listen, if Carmelo's smart, I think he's a free agent at the end of the year. I think I'd go sign with my banana boat buddy LeBron.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't really make a play on him because they could use him.
I think, you know what? I think Carmelo wanted more than a minimum contract. I think.
Oh.
But if I'm LeBron, I'm sitting Carmelo down and saying, listen, I know you don't like to come off the bench, but now he does. You can come off the bench here in LA and you'll get a ring. Easy.
Well, in LA, man, they can rest some cats, and that cat could start a lot of games too.
And he'll put up 20 points a game.
Easy.
And
walk and sleep.
Right, because here's the thing. Then you can load management LeBron.
Right.
And
but LeBron never. We're talking about Bron. He's never going to load manage.
AD will.
Yeah, well, AD's going to get hurt. That's a given. You know, that's probably.
That's why I'm saying that. Because think about it right now. AD's hurt right now, right? Carmelo would be the perfect guy for them right now.
Right.
But
right. What else we got? What else we got on the docket?
I'm gonna stop for another stat. EJ's Nito stat of the night.
He said EJ's Nito. Great.
My next stat of the night, and I talked to you about this on the phone. I found this on Instagram. Every team's record if games ended after the third quarter. These are the teams that would have made the playoffs, and these are their respectable records. In the NFC, you would have had the 13-3 Packers, the 12-4 Seahawks, the 11-5 Saints, the 8-8 Giants, the 10-6 San Francisco 49ers, the 10-6 Rams, the 9-7 Bucks. Before you say anything, the AFC would have gone like this: 13-3 Kansas City, 13-3 Buffalo, 12-4 Baltimore, 11-5 Colts, 10-6 Steelers, 10-6 LA Chargers, who had 4 wins this year. Then you know who else would have made the playoffs this year?
Who?
Your Raiders,
of course,
and Fresh Wes's Browns or the Titans. Now, there's one thing I want to say. As soon as I told you this, what did you tell me?
Me?
Yeah, when I told you about because I left the Raiders record out because I wanted to see your natural reaction, and I got what I wanted. You look not happy. But when I told you about the Chargers, what did you say?
Yeah, you got it. That's why you played the entire game.
And actually, funny story about the Raiders. I had to run to the liquor store earlier today to get something for the house. There was a guy with a Raiders hat on. And I go, oh, you're a Raider fan? He goes, yeah, man. I go, listen, man, you and my Cowboys have one thing in common. I said, our defenses. And he gets quiet and he goes, yep.
And that's all he said.
I said, your secondary can't guard anyone. He goes, that's putting it nicely.
Right.
And it's funny how your Raiders were in a lot of games. And then that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I could sit here and tell you about them, but we could go on all night about them. You got to play full games, man. You got to play the entire game. So So, that stat
But
about
what I feel bad about, I feel bad for the Chargers because the person that got blamed, the blame got pinned on Anthony Lynn for that. That wasn't his fault. That was their defense choking games away.
right. Yeah.
Just like it was for your Raiders. That was defenses choking games away.
Hey, what do you think about JJ Watt
I was about to get into that.
going to Arizona versus all the other spots? Not chasing the championship. I take my hat off to him. He didn't chase one. You know what I think? He wants to stay warm. I don't blame him.
Tampa Bay would have been warm.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do Tampa, but I think he wants to stay warm. Like AZ is still close to Texas. He's got a lot of ties in Texas. Arizona's right next door.
I'm surprised he didn't go back home to Wisconsin, though.
You thought he went to Green Bay?
I was either thinking that. I also really thought he was going to go play alongside his brother in Pittsburgh. I was convinced.
That would have been a move.
But here's the thing with the Arizona thing. I thought Arizona was a couple pieces away from making the playoffs. That's one piece.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece is this. Someone needs to sit down Larry Fitzgerald, all respect to Larry Fitzgerald, and say, listen, we'll make you our wide receiver coach, but it's time. Because your contract, we can go get a young cat. By the way, and I'm annoyed I didn't save this stat. But you know who's a free agent this year? That would be a perfect fit in Arizona.
Who?
Allen Robinson.
Offensively or defensively?
Offensively, Allen Robinson, wide receiver.
Where's he a free agent out of?
He was the Bears.
I saw some of his highlights. But is he injury prone?
He only missed 1 year because of a torn ACL. Only one.
Okay.
And I think that you put him with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and that team, they can make the playoffs easy. But they're in a tough NFC West, but still.
That weather will change your mind as a player, man. That weather there.
Exactly.
So, hey, where we at, man?
We've only been on an hour, so I think we can do another 20 minutes.
Okay.
I have another couple quick lists I want to go through because I found a ton this week.
Yeah.
So there's this cat who does TikToks, and he does a bunch of sports stuff. And he did his top 5 running backs of all time, his top 5 defensive players of all time, and his top 5 safeties of all time. And I know you're a big football guy, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this. These are his top 5 running backs of all time. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. It's loading. His top 5. Number 5, he goes Emmitt Smith at 5, LT at 4, Jim Brown at 3, Sweetness at 2, and Barry Sanders at 1. And you know who Sweetness is, right?
Yeah, that's Walter Payton, of course.
Right.
It's not a bad list. LT's not in my top 5, though.
Right. I think Emmitt Smith's ahead of him. I'd put AP at 5, Emmitt Smith at 4.
AP probably edges out. So I'm a Marcus Allen fan.
Do you think he's top 5?
He's in my top 5.
So you would put Barry Sanders at 1, Sweetness at 2, Jim Brown at 3, Marcus Allen at 4, and Emmitt Smith at 5.
I'm going number 1, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
I'm going number 2, Jim Brown.
Ahead of Sweetness.
Yep. Number 3, Earl Campbell.
Ahead of Walter Payton?
Yes, sir. Walter may not even be on my top 5. He might edge out he's probably in my top. He's in my top 10 for sure. I had Jim Brown. I had Jim Brown at
2.
Jim Brown at 2.
Earl Campbell at 3.
Earl at 3.
Oh, damn.
The toss.
That's why you put Earl Campbell at 3. Okay, now I see why.
It's a toss-up between at 4 between
Emmitt Smith and Marcus. Oh, Eric Dickerson. And Marcus Allen.
Emmett's not even in my top 5.
Coach. So I was like, why is this dude
Right on
putting
the edge.
Yeah, I'm like, why is this dude putting Eric Campbell there? Then I saw the 1980 season. 1,934 yards and 13 TDs. And the year before that, he went 1,697 yards and 19 TDs.
Earl's a problem. Eric Dickerson is probably in my top 5. And I'm a big Marcus Allen guy who wouldn't be in most people's, but Marcus.
That's a little bit of a homer decision.
That's definitely probably me. He's one of my favorites. That's that third down back, man. He's gonna get it for you. He's gonna get you that first. But I also got to give a shout out to Gale Sayers. So Gale Sayers is probably 5 for me. I put Marcus probably at 6. Emmett at 7. Sweetness at 8. So but there's so many.
Hey, and I respect that. Now, the Nets list this guy had top defensive players of all time. He said this was a hard list. I disagreed straight away with what he said. This is his top 5. 5, he has Deion Sanders. 4, Ray Lewis. 3, Aaron Donald. 2, Reggie White, and 1 LT. Here's my big issue. Deion Sanders has got to be higher than 5.
Absolutely higher than 5. Wait a minute.
Sanders?
But he has Lawrence Taylor, right?
Aaron Donald is not 3. Not yet.
No.
Ray Lewis is ahead of Aaron Donald. Deion Sanders is ahead of. I'm putting Deion Sanders at 2. I'm putting him ahead of. Okay, this guy's also an Eagles fan, so I understand why he put Reggie White at 2, but I'm putting Deion Sanders at 2. Deion Sanders was a problem. People would literally throw to the opposite side if it wasn't open when playing against Deion Sanders.
Hey, let me ask you this. Can you pull up Deion Sanders' stats? I want to know how many deflections, how many picks.
Because he was a problem, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he's the only person. Oh, I hate Deion Sanders' stats, and it comes up with his stats on the Reds.
Yeah. What's crazy with Deion too, man, is that cat.
Oh my Lord!
Played both sides of the football. Deion Sanders is number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and say it too. I'm with you there.
Hold on. I'm trying to find deflections. For some reason, I can't find.
That's all right.
His stats are pretty good though. He was a baller.
How many picks did he have in his career?
53. That's crazy.
How many TDs?
9. There was a season where he had 6 picks and 3 of them were for touchdowns.
Baller. I go with him number 2. Ray Lewis is definitely on that list.
I don't know if Aaron Donald's there yet. I just don't know.
Not yet, but he's gonna. They say he will be.
All right. This last list he has is top 5 safeties of all time. M. Tunnel at 5, Atwater at 4, Ronnie Lott at 3, Ed Reed at 2, and Troy Polamalu at 1.
I'm not putting Troy Polamalu ahead of Ed Reed.
Really?
No, but Polamalu's up there.
You're not putting Polamalu ahead of Reed? Do you not? Polamalu was a problem.
I know, but I'm not putting man. Ed Reed was a problem.
I'm looking up Ed Reed's stats right now, don't you? Oh, damn. He led the league in picks 3 times.
Yeah, so what's his list again? He had Polamalu number 1.
He had, I'll tell you right now, he has M. Tunnel at 5, Steve Atwater at 4, Ronnie Lott at 3, Ed Reed at 2, Troy Polamalu at 1.
See, that fool's leaving out Kenny Easley.
Kenny Easley.
The enforcer.
Okay, because Kenny Easley had a very short career.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he was from Seattle, so that's when you were probably growing up, right? He played on the Seahawks. And he had a season where he had 10 picks.
Yeah, Kenny Easley was a problem, man. You weren't coming across the middle on Kenny Easley. But I like his Ronnie Lott. I like, the tunnel pick. I don't know. But I like Ronnie. I like the Ronnie Lott. Kenny Easley was a problem though.
And you're Ed Reed ahead of
Yeah,
Palomar.
I am.
Last thing for the day I want to leave us at to kind of sit on and ponder is this. And this is kind of the last thought I found, and then we'll do keeping you up on game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go keep this in my closet. Is this right here? Hold on. Oh yeah. So I was interested because I heard Stephen A. Smith mention this stat. So did you guys know that part of the reason why the Knicks are playing so well is because they have allowed the least amount of points per game this year?
Someone was saying that. Someone's mentioning that stat too. Yeah, they've been balling.
They've allowed 103.8 points per game. The next closest is the Jazz with 105.9.
That's how you win games, though, man. Don't sleep on Tibbs.
I'm not. And you know what's interesting? Brooklyn is still the third worst team in terms of points allowed per game, but they're also scoring a ton. They lead the league in points per. They're third worst in points allowed. But the Wizards and the Kings are allowing 120 points a game, and that don't win you ball games.
No. Even when you got a cat by the name of Bradley Beal dropping 46.
Right. Because then if he can't stop Jason Tatum coming down the lane, that's where you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Coach, keeping you up on game.
Yeah, man. Today's keeping you up on game. Let's go with this is athletics too. Let you know this particular insect's one of the most athletic insects
out there.
Yes. Did you know flies can react to an object it sees and change directions in less than 30 milliseconds? So when we be trying to slap flies or we think we can grab them and catch them, they see us before we're even thinking about grabbing and catching them, man.
Exactly. That's crazy. All right, y'all. Just like I entered, I'm gonna disappear like a smooth criminal.
This fool with the fake cigar. Oh man, you crazy.
Another episode of the Coffee Table Podcast, y'all. For Funky Fresh Cole Medina, like a smooth criminal.
You crazy.
I'm out.